Hi everyone, and a very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the webinar on digital marketing is changing the world and your business too. This session brought to you by VLAN Asia, Exabyte, and Next Academy. Before we start, I would like to remind everyone to like our Facebook and LinkedIn page. How you can do that is basically go down to the page and look for VLAN Asia, Exabyte, or Next Academy and click on the link, which is also provided in the Q&A section. And you can follow us for more updates on promotions as well as webinars that we'll be having in the future. And if you have any inquiries, you can also WhatsApp us through the number which is also displayed on the screen, which is +6012 266 0189, and we'll have our people respond to your messages and questions that you have. Speaking of which, I would also like to encourage you guys to drop in your questions if you have any throughout this session at the Q&A section, which is located on the right-hand side of your screen. If it's not open, you can actually click on the Q&A icon, which is located on the top right-hand corner of your screen to open it. You can drop your questions over there, and after the session, we will take them. For today's session, we have with us the ever cheerful and lovely Audrey Ling, the CMO of Next Academy, to present to us on this topic. She will be sharing with you some effective methods and insights on digital marketing. I know too many of us out there who are going through a lot of issues and questions on how this digital marketing thing is going to help us with our business, right? And there's a joke that is going out there which goes like this: question of who made your company pivot to digitization? Answer: A, your CEO; B, your CTO; and C, COVID-19. Well, I guess we all know the answer to that question. But I'm sure we have many other questions to ask as well. So feel free to drop them in the Q&A section throughout the session, and we will take them right after the presentation by Audrey. Well, without any further ado, I'm going to pass this session over to Audrey to take it off. Audrey, it's over to you. You can unmute your mic and also share your screen. Right.
All right. Hi guys, I'm Audrey. So I'm really excited to be sharing with you guys today. So within this 1 hour, obviously it's going to be very hard for me to cover like 50 hours worth of content in just 1 hour. So what I would want you all to take back home today is one is one is, what are some of the ways, what are the 8 tips that you can bring home today to think about what you can do for your digital marketing initiatives. And at the same time, I'm also going to share with you a story, in fact, how Next Academy became Next Academy in the first place. And it's also a really similar situation where back then, we also needed to figure out a way to pivot. And that is how we actually ended up becoming Next Academy. So really excited to have all of you guys today. Give me a second. I'm just going to share screen right now. Okay. So really quick one, if you guys want the slides, you guys can just go and type in nextmy.co/eo and you'll be able to download the slides over there. So this is me. I'm a CMO of Next Academy, and Next Academy is a digital marketing and coding school. And for now, we have more than 2,500 students. And let me just start off with a story, because I think, right now, what we need is inspiration. What we also need is to hear how other people actually get through hurdles and obstacles. And maybe you might be facing certain obstacles that's similar to mine in the past, and this could help you as well. So Next Academy started in about 2014, and back then we were like a niche coding bootcamp, right? Very niche. No one have ever heard about this 10 weeks, coding bootcamp. Everyone knows about, a 3-4 year degree, or a 1 or 2 days accelerated discovery coding classes, but no one have heard of this whole 10 weeks course where after 10 weeks people can become a coder. So back then what happens was that if you guys know Magic. So Magic was spearheading the entrepreneur, the startup ecosystem in Malaysia, and they actually got Josh, which is the founder, to be the trainer for this whole 10 weeks course. And what we do is that we work with Magic to train coders, entrepreneurs, and these people come up from very different backgrounds. None of them are from IT backgrounds. So Magic will gather interest from people and will go through an interview process, and then they will pass the students to us and we'll train the students. So back then we were just purely a trainer. But the problem is this: they were not providing us enough students. I believe this is a situation that a lot of us are facing, right? Especially during this period of time. Our cost remains the same, especially during this MCO. Our cost remains the same, but the problem is that sales is not coming in, income is not coming in. Salary we still need to pay. Some of us still need to pay rent. Some of us still need to pay, electricity bill, water bill, and everything. The cost remains. But when we do not have enough students, what is going to happen to our business, right? And when we went and asked Magic, hey Magic, what's happening? You're not sending us enough students. The biggest problem that they were having is that they do not have enough leads. So you must be wondering, is this where digital marketing comes in and save the day? Like the digital marketing is like a knight, the white knight, the shining knight that comes in and destroy the enemy and everything's good. Well, just like every hero story, there is always obstacles. There is a lot. Back then, we were just pure trainers. We didn't do any digital marketing at all. And then it made us realize that, hey, we cannot just rely on other people. We need to figure out things ourselves as well. So people always ask this question, hey, can you really code in just 10 weeks? When people who go to uni, a lot of people who go to uni and study computer science couldn't even build an app, right? After 4 years. 10 weeks, is such a long time. Why not make it shorter? Or is it worth quitting my job in 3 months, for 3 months without any salary? And who would hire people who only learn for 3 months? Is this a scam? There are so many questions. And the questions even go with, oh, where's this from? What is this boot camp? When we say that, oh, this is Silicon Valley inspired, right? Oh, why is there no Amor teaching? Why is it all Malaysians? There are all sorts of questions that comes in. And one of the key things is this, at the time, for me, Josh asked me to do the marketing bit. I sat there and I was like, oh, there are so many feedbacks. Am I trying to accommodate to everyone's feedback? And then that's where I sway and I ask, why can't we slash prices? Make it super, super cheap. Or why can't we just make the course 3 days, right? There are a lot of 3-day courses that charge 2,000 ringgit, right? Why can't we just do that? That one is a lot easier to make money anyways. And you see, this is how things were like in the past. There were a lot of short-term courses, 2 to 3 days, and they would charge 2,000, 3,000 ringgit. There were also, a degree, 3-4 years degree, and it was more than 1,000, 100K. I guess a lot of you guys know about that. And for me, for Next Academy at the time, it was not called Next Academy, it's called Code Division. We were just like stuck in the middle, right? Neither here, neither there. People will look at it and say, oh, might as well just get a degree, or might as well just go for a 2 or 3 days course. So I was really swayed by it. But you see, that's the thing. People ask, can't you just do digital marketing straight away, right? Let's just throw the money in and then see how it goes. But you must always remember that when your marketing fundamentals are not there, when you yourself are not even sure of what you can bring to the table, what value you have, if you're just going to throw in money like this, I'll tell you that there will be no fire. Because digital marketing is not your solution. Digital marketing is an amplifier. It is the gasoline. Where there is a small fire, you put gasoline and then it will blast out bigger. But if you do not know your marketing fundamentals, you'll be amplifying the wrong things and you'll be going to the wrong direction. And that's when you'll be putting in money, a lot of money, and not making the returns that you want. So when I asked Josh, oh, why can't we just slash prices and why can't we just do a 2-3 days course, cheap, very cheap. Malaysians like cheap stuff, right? If it's not cheap, then Malaysian like short duration things, but then charge really high, so they don't mind. Then Josh told me, this is the time when he told me what his values are. He said, I want to make an impact. What is an impact? I want people who come to the course have the ability to actually build an app by themselves, have the ability to be hired as a developer. And I also still want to be sustainable, because if it's not sustainable, there's no point he's going to continue on with this whole training. So this is what I thought about, right? This is what they see. Back then in 2015, this was our price point. This is what these people see. The public see this as, duration wise, wow, 10 weeks are quite long, very long. Wow, price is so like, wow, not cheap, not too expensive, but it's in the middle. Might as well I just go for 2-3 days and I just pay 3K. Isn't that better, right? So this is what people see. And we actually talk about it, and we needed to change their perception. And this is what we want them to see. If you do a 2 to 3 days course at 3,000 bucks per hour basis, you're paying 250 ringgit to 500 ringgit per hour. If you're going to do a 4-year degree, and honestly speaking, I think we all were back in uni, you don't study the whole day, right? You have 1 week, how many hours do you study? You don't study every hour. You don't study 40 hours straight. You probably study 20 hours or less than that. So by the end of the day, it's easily, 100 over bucks per hour, because you don't study full time. But for us, what we did is, hey, our course is 10 weeks, is full time, is 400 hours. And if we divide it this way, our course per hour basis is only 29 ringgit and 50 cents. Value for money. Isn't this value for money? And not just that, we wanted to emphasize on impact. The impact, what is the impact? The impact is to be able to build your own app, to be an entrepreneur, to be a technopreneur. You have the ability to do that. And also to become a coder, you can be hired as a coder as well. So is that impact big in just 10 weeks? And one more key thing is this: we will always follow the latest technology. And so the impact is huge. When you have a 2 or 3 days course, what impact do you have? You won't have too much of an impact. If you go for a 4-year degree, you do have some level of impact, which is pretty good. But at the same time, I think one of the crucial feedback that people have is that the students are not learning the latest technology. So with all this feedback that we got from competitors, and then we take a look at our product and we ask ourselves, where do we stand? How do we stand out from the other people? And where we stand is, we are very value for money. That's one. And number two, our impact is huge. It's huge compared to our competitors. Then we ask ourselves, so what is our value? Our value is mentorship. Our value is like getting a degree. You can get a job after that. We have track record. We have industry relevance. It's worth the money. We cannot just sell. We need to educate the market about all these things. We need to educate the market on what made us stand out. Because at the time, this product that we have is totally new, and people were so skeptical. We needed to tell them that we are worth it. But by the end there, you can say, so we market to entire 30 million people in Malaysia. Well, there are a lot of people in Malaysia, but honestly speaking, is everyone going to come and learn to code? Obviously not, right? There are still kids. Some of them are still, some of them are not interested in coding at all. Some of them cannot even have access to internet. So how? So we always ask ourselves, who really needs the impact? Who really needs us, right? As opposed to trying to spray and pray and target everyone. We want to boil down to the key people that we can impact. So we immediately wrote those things down. People who wants to be technopreneur. They want to build their own startup. They want to build their own app, but they don't have all the money in the world to outsource their app building to other people. So they need to build it themselves. and also people who want to be coder. So they need skills to be employable, right? And who wants to be coders? So we are thinking maybe people in uni who study computer science. Obviously, they want to be coders, lah, right? And we weren't sure. We were just thinking back then. People who want to be uni, who want to go to uni study IT, lor. So that was what we were thinking. And finally, people who wants to freelance and want the digital nomad lifestyle. I think a lot of us wants to have that, right? We want to have a secondary income. We want to be able to code and work somewhere at Bali beside the seaside and have a coconut with us. Okay, so I would like to. And the next thing is we ask ourselves, so how do we find these people? Right? We were rushing against time. At the time, we only had 2 weeks. 2 weeks to the next intake, and we had zero news from Magic. Zero news from Magic means that we may have no students at all, and we still need to pay the cost. Okay, we need to pay the cost, and we don't not pay the cost for 1 week. We will have no students for 2 months, and we need to pay the cost for 2 months. That is how scary it is. So we started asking ourselves, should we have referral systems? Do we take flyers? Go to universities, maybe we stand there by, give flyers out. How about freelancers? Maybe we should talk to freelancers. Oh, Magic have a lot of event attendees as well. Let's go there. Let's go there. But we only have 2 weeks. We don't have all the time in the world. So what happens next is, this is where digital marketing came in. We decided, okay, you know what? Let's use Facebook advertising. So we built a landing page to collect information, to collect emails, names, and interests. And then we use Facebook advertising. What we did was that we do multiple targeting. We target universities. I list down all the universities. I target people who like Jack Ma, because Jack Ma is the star, the main star in the startup scene. We target people who love startups, who love Magic. We target people in Klang Valley. We target people who are digital nomads, right? We have all sorts of people. And the next thing is that we come up with 3 different ads. The first one is, you want to be a technopreneur? Do you want to start your own startup? That's the number 1 ad. The second ad we came up with was, do you want to be a coder? Is this something that you wanted all this while? The third one was digital nomad. Don't you want to work, at the beach, right? Sipping a coconut, because today the only one of the few skills that allows you to do that is your coding skill, right? So those are like the 3 key messages that we put out with the ads. And we run the ads, and everyone who clicks into these ads will come to our landing page. And after the landing page, they will key in all this information. We'll send them emails. We'll give them a call, and and to see if they're interested or not. And we'll need to pass all these things to Magic. So basically, we cannot even choose our own students, okay? So Magic need to filter students some more. So Magic have their own criteria. So what's the results? In just the next 3 days, we gathered easily 20 over leads. And what we found out is that, hey, people who wants to be coders doesn't mean that they are always from uni. We realized that there were so many people who are already in their first job, in their second job, who are from really weird backgrounds, right? I'm talking about waiters, I'm talking about doctors, pharmacists, lawyers, who suddenly said, actually, I've wanted to code all this while. We also have people who wants to build apps and have business ideas, but not a lot of people know about Magic. You would think that Magic, everyone should know about Magic, but not a lot of people know about Magic. And you know what, freelancers, I thought only freelancers who are freelancers today would be interested in coding. But what we found out is that a lot of people, almost everyone I know, in their heart, they don't mind having a secondary income. So what we did is that we gather all this list, we pass it to Magic, and Magic will choose who to attend, and because they will be partially sponsoring them. So from zero leads to, 20 leads was for 3 days. We had more than 20. I think we probably have about 100 or so. And what Magic did was that Magic actually cut down and filter them, and in the end, Magic gave us 8 students, right? All this done within 2 weeks. If we were just going to sit there and wait, we are not even going to get 1 student at all. And what was really interesting was that people who failed the filtering process, actually call us out and say, hey, I didn't manage to get past the magic interview, but I would love to be able to come in as a private student. And that is how we got our first private student. And our first time thinking about making Next Academy an actual school, because we found out that there are people who needs what we can offer. So that is the story that I had, from not we weren't even sure if we wanted to actually continue on to make it into an actual school, because we weren't sure if there is going to be product market fit. From that, with that one experiment, just that one digital marketing experiment, we managed to find students and we managed to validate that our business could work. And that was 5 years ago, and that's how Next Academy came about. So let's just look through the process, right? The process, how was our process like? We do targeting, we send traffic with 3 core messages, because those, I believe, are the core messages that people wanted. The customer avatar, we actually go to the customer avatar just now, and these are the 3 customer avatar messages that we came up with. And then people who likes all these customer avatar messages or our messaging, they will click onto it and then they will come to our landing page. And this is the converting page. The converting page is meant, back then it was meant to get emails, names, and phone number, right? And after that, we'll follow up with a phone call as well as an email. So that was 5 years ago, right? That 5 years ago, this model will work really well, works perfectly fine. But the truth is, the question is, does it still work today? Well, yes, it still works today. But today, things have evolved. The digital marketing ecosystem has become so much bigger. It's no longer just, Facebook ads and everything's done. I mean, today you can still use Facebook ads for a lot of things, but today what we are looking at now is that you're using more than just Facebook. You use Instagram, you use Google, some of you use TikTok, some of you use LinkedIn. There are so many more platforms compared to back then. So using the right messages and targeting the right audience still works, but we need to create a lot more touch points than just Facebook and just your website. And this is where the 8 things you should look into. So what you notice here is there's this thing called the digital marketing, the digital strategy. And the digital strategy is surrounded by these 8 things. And we'll go into it one by one, right? And among all, you can see like social media ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, all the ads, SEO, right? We'll talk about it in a bit. Website, right? All of us have our own website. So what can we do with our website? Then we have conversation marketing. How do we create a conversation about our brand, about ourselves? We also have emails. We also have customer relationship management. How do we generate leads? How do we do conversion planning? Mobile, we use apps, we use messaging. And of course, by the end of the day, in the middle of it all, we must always create content. We must always gather data, and we must always analyze what worked and what did not work. So now let's just go and deep dive into each of it. So let's start with website. You see, website optimization is to make sure that your web page is action inducing. For example, this is our Facebook and Instagram class, masterclass, right? It's very straightforward. Hey, what you want to do. So the context is for business. The words, I want to make sure the words, the visuals, everything, the layout and the call to action is very simple. The user experience that comes in here, you know what you're getting, you know what you're expecting. You look at the pictures and you go and you know that this is going to be an online class because it's MCO. There are all sorts of stuff. You can just click into it and then you can immediately join our masterclass, right? And that is how we make sure that we want to make sure that our page is action inducing. You do not want to clutter the entire page with all sorts of stuff. We only want them to do one thing. If you like what you're seeing, join us now. So next, CRM. So the next thing about CRM is that lead generation. We want to generate leads. People always say, I need more leads. I need more leads. Just like what we had, how to capture interest and micro actions. And we use what sort of stuff can be used as lead magnets. We use free items and low-cost mini offerings as lead magnets. So for example, just an example, Next Academy's course is it's very huge, it's very big. You have 12 different topics, right? But hey, right now I'm going to cut out one topic, which is Facebook and Instagram advertising only, and I'm going to charge you only a fraction of the price, right? And if you love what you've learned, then you'll be interested in joining our full course later on. How about this? Our digital marketing, this is our digital marketing class, our coding class. So you saw our coding class, the on-site 10 weeks full-time class is 11,500. But right now, because of MCO, we are doing a 3-day full-time online but live class with mentorship and everything for just 300 ringgit. Is it worth it? So these are the things to think about, right? I'm here to capture interest. I want people to try out coding. I want people to try out digital marketing. So next, content marketing. Content marketing, we need to capture traffic through content. We all create a lot of different content, and we use content to educate people, to delight people, to create social proof. You see, we write a lot. We do a lot of content. If you go to our Instagram, you can see a lot of videos on digital marketing, on coding, so that you can learn with us. We also write blogs, teaching you how to do different things. Right? What is A/B testing, for example? Right? These are more advanced digital marketing stuff. And you can see that, some of our students, they also create their own very interesting ways to educate people. Like for Maria's Cafe, they educate you on how to find the right steak, how to cook the right steak. You can go and watch those things. And obviously, we love Gary Vee. A lot of us love Gary Vee, and I love him. And he's the best preacher on the power of content. He will tell you why you need to create content. And you know what's the most amazing thing about him? He will tell you how to reuse and repurpose the content. So every one content he has, he actually repurposed the content into 5-6 content. So you don't need to think of new content. You just need to think of new ways, new formats to deliver the content. So when you have all your content, you see why content is in the middle is because when you have this content, you're going to use the same content across your social media, across your advertising, across your website, your email and everything. So now after you have your content, the next thing we should talk about is, social media. All of us use social media, right? Why do we need social media? It's because we're here to build the credibility and our online digital presence. When you want to go to a restaurant, what do you do? When people say, hey, let's try out this cafe, this ABC cafe. The first thing someone will do is, wait. Let me go Instagram and check it out. Wait, let me go Facebook and check out this restaurant. The same thing goes with a lot of other businesses as well. The first thing you want to do is you want to go and check their website. You want to check their social media. You want to see that if they're still alive or not. So that's one way to check. So yeah, so you can use your social media to educate, to inform people. And I really love what Sticker Bear has here. Sticker Bear actually use social media to share with people how the different sticker papers, sticker quality are like. So for example, the transparent sticker, how does it look like? If it's a matte sticker, how does it look like? If your sticker have like gold, the golden lines and stuff like this, how would it look like? So she actually put up everything here. So you guys could actually go check out Sticker Bear. Fionn does a good job with her social media, and she does amazing stickers, by the way. Next, I think a lot of us knows this. Live streaming is really big, and I don't know how many of you guys have bought something from live stream. I've not exactly bought fish or stuff from live stream, but I know people. I know people who are in their 50s, in their 60s, who bought fish, who bought seafood, crabs, prawns from Facebook live stream. I'm not talking about 20, 30 years old, okay? I'm talking about people who are in their 50s and 60s who buy seafood on Facebook. So it's becoming very huge right now, right? And people are doing it for online auction. People are doing it for education, training, and sharing. Like for example, this is also a sharing session with you guys, right? We want to build a following, we want to build a presence, awareness as well. And some of you, if you actually follow them, wow, they're amazing in closing sales. So what we see here is that people are using different strategies across these 8 things to help boost their digital strategy, right? And now let's just look at ads. With ads, we have paid ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, we have display ads, Google, YouTube ads, and these are what we call push marketing. Very short-term boosts, you need to pay money, obviously. Put in money, then they will show your stuff to more people, right? You pay people to discover you, and you can retarget people. You can use this to draw new traffic, new people that you have never met before. You can use this to get leads. You can push for conversions, Facebook and Instagram is really good to stalk people if you want to stalk them, right? You can also rely on Facebook, Instagram, Google to look for suitable prospects for you. They would actually, because Facebook, Google, and whatnot, they know so much about our browsing history, what we like, what we don't like, what we react, what posts we react. Facebook will also know. So Facebook actually know you better than you know yourself, and Facebook will send the necessary ads to you. The next one is paid ads with Google search ads, right? And Google search ads, you want to be able to do pull marketing. It's great for short-term boosts, right? You pay to target people's intent. So for example, if anyone were to type digital marketing in Malaysia, best digital marketing course in Malaysia, you will see our ads over there. Our ads will be here. And you can see digital marketing course. Come and learn our digital marketing course, right? So there are a lot of use cases for this. You target intent keywords, target competitor keywords, and protect your own keyword as well. So aside from, we already talked about paid ads, paid search ads, there is also this, right? There is also this search engine optimization. So what is search engine optimization? It's basically wanting to be able to, you want to be able to rank as high as possible for some of the things that they are doing, right? So for example, when people Google digital marketing course Malaysia, you can actually see this. You can actually see that, hey, you know what? This is Next Academy's website, and Next Academy's website is actually at one of the top for digital marketing Malaysia. So what we do here is that we want to generate long-term sustainable organic traffic, and we want to rank visibly for crucial keywords, right? And so the second thing is, you can see if I type second-hand car, there is also something called car list. You want to be able, you see car list appears first, followed by motor trader, and so on. So what can happen here is you want to be able to rank at the top for the crucial keywords that you are looking for. And you need to make sure that you have SEO optimized content. You need to make sure that you have good backlinks, right? Technical SEO, localized SEO. There's a lot of work to be done here. But for this, it is a long-term investment. So for paid ads, you pay money today, you can get results tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. For SEO, you put in effort today, you may get results only 6 months down the road. But this results is going to last for a long time. Maybe 2 years later, people might still discover you because of the article you have written, right? But for paid advertising, if you stop paying money, you don't get any results. So next, email. So email is as a means of communication. If you abandon checkout, if you add something to cart, and if you add something to cart and you forgot to check out, then they will just say, hey, you forget something. Why don't you complete and pay up now? So you use emails to nurture, to do follow up, to inform of new promotions. People also use it for upselling, but one key thing is always give value. Right? If you're going to use your email to send cold traffic, like cold emailing people, and if people start unsubscribing and start marking you as spam, it's going to hurt your email address. So you need to be careful, right? Be very, very careful. But giving value is very, very crucial. So I would say it's best if you only email people who have already given consent for you to email them. But if you're going to cold email people, you need to get ready that if they mark you as spam and everything, is going to hurt your email address. And in the future, every email that you send is going to go into spam. So mobile, the same thing goes with messaging marketing, right? You also have messaging, WhatsApp, right? A lot of us use WhatsApp. Also, it does the same thing like emails, right? But the only difference is that it's more interactive. People will reply. You need to be responsive. And the same thing goes if you simply if you simply WhatsApp people and people don't know who you are, they will mark you as spam. Your number can get blocked, okay? And WhatsApp can stop your entire number altogether. So you have to be careful. So conversation marketing, right? We talk about chatbots here. So that we use chatbots to induce action. And this is one key thing that, all this stuff, I always tell my students, like, guys, when you're using chatbots, you want to think about it. Is it to save costs or is it to capture revenue? You need to think. And you can put effort into building your chatbot, and sometimes, right, it's really cool. It's one of the upcoming, people rave about this whole chatbot, but at the same time, it's going to take up a lot of time. So you need to it's going to take up a lot of time to build them. So you need to manage and see, does it make sense to use a chatbot? To what extent, right? Does it make sense to build a very, very established, very, very sophisticated chatbot? Or is it okay for me to build some part of the chatbot and then halfway through it will go back to my real salesman or my real service human, like the service team? So those are conversations that you can have, because like for AirAsia, it's very, very big. It's very established, and obviously it's a very complex system. So it's going to take money and time to build this. So you need to weigh it out, right? But one good thing about chatbot is that, you don't have a human being sitting in front of the computer 24/7. So chatbot comes in at the right time. So for Next Academy, we use, like, if you want a program kit, if you want to know more about us, you can actually, get our stuff. You can actually get our stuff here, right? We collect leads through our chatbots. And PR. So why do we use PR? It's because we want to build credibility. And PR also helps with SEO. Influencer marketing also helps with conversation, right? Like, so I'm Jen. I really love her, and some of the key things, amazing things that she have done. Her branded content with one of the brand, the the brand. I can't remember what it's called, but I always remember say, oh, that the thing. Yes. So if you have influencers, you need to make sure that their fan base are who you're looking for. Then leverage on their fan base. Then we also have referral marketing, right? This referral, you don't need to wait for influencers to help you, but you and I can become referrals, can become affiliates. Basically, you're using both of us, you're using your friends, your family, everyone that you know to become your referral. The same thing goes with Big Pay. Big Pay say if you recommend a friend, you get $10. Touch and Go. Hey, recommend a friend, put in your code, and then you get rebate. This is how you can help. So for example, for Next Academy, hey, if you want to become a Next Academy affiliate, you can email me, right? Email me, and then I'll give you a special referral links. So those are ways to actually get everyone to be a part of this referral marketing for your company. And then we have data analytics. A lot of things, everything that you have done, if you don't track it, you wouldn't know what is working, what's not. You want to see what works, double down on it. What is broken, fix it. What is not working, cut it, right? Chop, chop, chop. And this includes, this goes with your ads, your pages, your keywords, your emails, and everything. Everything also you can also track. When you're doing your Facebook ads or whatever ads, you will have your check analytics platform. If you're going to have Google Analytics, you can see what's happening on your website. Are there broken pages and so on and so forth? Those are the things that you need to check. You need to check, you need to track, and you need to know how to make decisions from there. And I think one of the key things I always tell my students is, hey, students, like, they always ask me this, like, there's so much information. I don't know what to do with this information. It's very scary, right? Because you get data paralysis. And so I always tell my students this, hey guys, right, I'm going to show you some of the ways that I make decisions out of all this big data. But one key thing is that what you notice is that I already know what are the questions that I'm going to ask. And then when I know what questions I'm going to ask, then I'll look for the answers with this data. So I usually guide my students step by step on how to actually build their thought process in looking at all this data and how to make decisions out of it, so that your marketing effort is not wasted. Okay, so obviously another one is customer relationship management. We already talked about lead gen, but not just that, we also need to talk about one more thing, which is the funnel marketing. And I think this is one thing that we emphasize so much during class, especially to the students. I always say this, now that if you actually look at this, you have all these 8 buckets and there is so much stuff. There's just so much stuff, so overwhelming. But one key thing is the most important thing of them all is funnel marketing. You need to learn to build your funnel so that all your digital marketing initiative will support this funnel. You cannot just say, oh, I want to do SEO for 3 months, then I don't do anything else. Or I want to do Facebook for 3 months and I don't do anything else. No. You need to actually build a funnel, and you need to ask yourself, so where does different aspects of digital marketing help build this whole funnel, help support this funnel to reach to your ultimate goal? So we use this to understand the customer journey, to align the entire team, and to also look for gaps and leakages. And to me, this is like the most important thing. Like this, just now, awareness, consideration, action, post-action. People need to first be aware. How do people become aware of Next Academy? When people are considering, people will go around and look for Next Academy reviews. Where do they get their reviews, right? We have videos, we have Facebook reviews, we have Switch Up reviews, we have all sorts of reviews. When people take action, what action do they take? Maybe they will take, if they don't want to take, sometimes people will just jump straight into taking our big courses straight away and say, oh, I want to go and learn how to code, But sometimes people still are not sure if they want to go for the big courses, then they'll go for the smaller ones first, right? Go for Programming 101. Go for the program that I told you about, the 300 ringgit 3-day course, a small course, right? They try it out and they see if they like it, then they will come for our big programs. And then the post action, what can we do? We'll get people to refer. We will get people to refer. We'll get people to talk about, come to our events and so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, there are different aspects of digital marketing, and all of them have different traits and strategies. Okay, by the way, they are all not the same. And you look at it and say, wow, this is crazy. This is a lot of stuff. Well, yes, last time, can one person do everything, or should we hire one for each things? Last time people usually hire one marketer for each aspects, but today marketers are expected to know multiple. You may not need to know everything, but you need to know multiple stuff. So what I would say is that one very crucial thing is that, hey, you need to know how different things work, but you can specialize in a few areas. So at Next Academy, one of the big goals when I tell my students, I say, if you guys want to be really good digital marketers, if you want to be employable, hireable, right, you need to learn to strategize step by step for your company. You need to learn to look at the whole picture, come up with a funnel, right? Even if you're not a specialist in certain things, it's fine, but you know enough to help the company, to help your company or help whatever company, businesses that you're in, to build a marketing strategy. And that is very, very crucial. So I think that's pretty much it. We are going to be opening our time up now for Q&A. We have around 20 minutes left. Really excited, to have all of you guys and to be able to share this with all of you. So now let's just really quickly go back to the Teams. Okay, so Norman, back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Audrey, for that sharing. Yeah, guys. So if you
have I stopped sharing? Have I stopped sharing?
Yes, you have. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can actually put them in the Q&A section, which is located on the right-hand side of the screen. We'll give you about a minute or so to just drop the questions in there. This is the right time to actually ask questions that you have with regards to digital marketing and how you're going to strategize on your ads, or perhaps you have questions on SEOs. Yeah, just drop them in and then we'll see how we can actually answer them. So just give you about a minute or so. You can drop them in the the right-hand side corner of your screen. At the same time, if you can take a look at the screen, you can also see a QR code, which is also on your screen. You can actually help us to scan that and give us some feedback on the webinar. That would be great. Yeah, some of you are wondering whether you can get the slides. We're going to share with you a link that will make it easy for you to actually download the slides from the Next Academy website. They provide the slides for you. We will also follow up with sending you the slides as well as the recording for this webinar to the email that you have actually sent us. Okay, we have some questions coming in already. There's one question, Audrey. They're asking, can they know more about the 10-week course? Can you explain more about that, the 10-week course?
For the coding course? Or Okay, so at Next Academy, we do two things, right? We have digital marketing and we have coding. So for coding, we have the 10 weeks course. So that one is full-time on-site. And the whole goal is people can start off with zero IT background, but you definitely need to put in a lot of effort. So it's going to be very immersive, intensive for 10 weeks. And after 10 weeks, we have a lot of students who are who get hired as developers, as well as starting their own businesses. So we have students who are in now AirAsia, Mindvalley, a lot of startups. You easily find at least one student in there. A lot of web development companies also have at least one of our students in there today. A lot of SMEs, MNCs as well have our students in there. So so with that, it's going to start you off with zero coding knowledge to the point where you can build apps by yourself, build a solid app and launch the app by yourself. So that's for our coding. For our digital marketing course, if you're interested, so that is, we have the remote one, the remote immersive course, as well as in the future when MCO is over, there's also the 5 weeks on-site. That one is also pretty intensive, but it's part-time though. The 5 weeks on-site class. So you guys could go check it out. We cover a range of topics, 12 topics, and really, the things that we shared just now. We cover them, and students do ask them and also ask us of our opinions on some of the strategies they put forth for their own company. So the whole goal is for them to not just learn, but after they learn, they can apply it to their own company and then just ask for feedback from us. We are totally fine with that.
How did they reach out? I mean, like, how did they get the maybe the course, the whole, is there somewhere they can go to, like a website?
Yeah, just go to nextacademy.com. Everything is in there, nextacademy.com.
Nextacademy.com.
Yeah, great. Just go to the homepage, scroll down a bit, you can see multiple different courses down there as well.
We don't hard sell on the webinar, so yeah, you can just go down to the website and you can check out all the courses that you have on Next Academy. There's another question. This guy is asking, I'm not sure it's a guy or a girl because it's anonymous. They asked this question: why did you guys wait until 2 weeks left and then start advertising for the training?
Oh, that's very good. Because all this while we back then we were just the trainer. So in other words, we weren't supposed to even do digital marketing or any form of marketing for them. So basically, we were just waiting for them, right? And when we always ask, so we actually start asking them 1 month before the course starts, and they will just say, and they will keep us in the dark, like they won't tell us anything. And then when it's left with 2 weeks and there's no news, because what usually happens is that usually they will, if things are really good, right, they will tell us 1 month before, and oh yeah, we get so many leads. But this one, they were really quiet and it was very hard to reach them back then. So after a while, we realized that things are not really good and things are not doing really well already because there's no news. And then in the end, we really force it and say, hey, what's happening, guys? Like, really, what is happening? And someone just said, oh, we still don't really have any leads yet, so we are still waiting. I said, wow, the thing is happening in 2 weeks' time and you tell us that there is no leads. It is quite scary for us. So on hindsight, obviously, on hindsight, we really wanted to rely on other people. I mean, we just think that we don't need to do marketing, right? But actually, I think by the end of the day, you still need to think of it for yourself as well.
Okay, another question. This is going back to the slides. They actually
Yeah.
want you to showcase the 8 circles of digital strategy again.
Okay,
The
okay.
question is, and what is the average cost per acquisition?
Okay, so average cost per acquisition differs from one person to another person. So my suggestion for you is actually, um, my suggestion for you to is actually see if by the end day if it makes sense or not for you, right? So for example, all the paid advertising, you will be able to very easy, if you know that something is happening, you have a campaign coming up, let's just say in 1 month's time, and you're running ads from today onwards. So you would very easily know that, oh, okay, altogether I put in, let's say 5,000 ringgit, and then by the end of the day, I'm getting back for the campaign, I'm getting back like 60 leads, for example. Then 60 leads, out of 60 leads, 20 become customers. So those are the ways that you can actually calculate. So 5,000 divided by 20, right? How much would that be? Then you will already have a good idea how much is your customer acquisition cost. But of course, there are a lot of other things. For now, if you really want to calculate salaries in time spent on your websites and stuff like that, of course, that's a very different calculation altogether. But usually, what people do is that they will calculate. They will usually calculate how much money they spend on their marketing, the marketing budget itself within that period of time. That will help you have a good idea. Because I think, like, building websites is covered under your, salary already, right? I hope that you don't need to pay extra to build websites or to build additional web pages. Like for us at Next Academy, all the staff knows how to build web pages. But I know that in certain situations where you may outsource it, then you need to calculate that cost into your marketing initiative as well.
Okay, the next question, Audrey, is how do you conduct a digital marketing remote class? The 12 weeks online, is there a fixed time, evening, morning,
Yeah. So
or we can learn anytime we want?
okay, so what happens is this, for the remote class, is the learn anytime you want, right? And you can ask any questions, but we will also have like ad hoc sessions as well. That, like, for example, recently I actually ran the digital marketing, the Facebook and Instagram advertising, that course, right? It was a paid course, right? But for all the digital marketing students that I had, like, even for the past 2-3 years, they are free to come and join. So that's what we do. So the remote class is, even though it's by your own pace, but I do run all these ad hoc workshops and I invite students to join. So long you're my students, you can join them.
Okay, this is a good question. The person wants to know what is the main element to consider when you build a funnel effectively, as the sources limited. Nowadays, the trend keeps changing.
Yeah, even though the trend keeps changing, the customer journey remains the same. For example, let's use a car. Uh, let's just talk about properties, right? When people want to buy property, back then it's like, oh, I want to buy a house, but a house is very expensive. So what do you do? And this house is a new development. The first thing you do is look at the brochure, you go and Google. You get news about this house. You go and Google, hey, where's this location? How are things like? And then you go to the showroom and see how the showroom is like, right? You can see that even though a lot of trends are changing, human behaviors still remain the same, right? But of course, you need to keep a lookout for additional, like back in those days when there was no internet, people would just go to the show house immediately. But today, when we have internet, we need to make sure people will start Googling, hey, where's this location? What's this place? Then you need to keep in mind that these are places that where people will look for as well. So I think one of the key things, if you really want to start building a funnel, the first thing first is understand your customer journey. How do they walk, to discover you all the way to buying something from you? That customer journey, if you can, you know how, then you can build that journey. Like, oh, let's just say last time you never think about using the internet, but now you realize that, oh, people actually do Google. Okay, then I need to make sure that when there's a new launch, I must make sure my website is filled with my website. I need to go to certain blogs to talk about this project and everything. So one way is to talk to your customers and say, hey, very casual, how do you find out about us? So, oh, you actually went and Google, oh, you actually saw this blog and you find out about us. So these are ways for you to also keep track of customer journeys that you may have not realized, but people actually walk those journeys.
The next one is, what do you think about digital marketing in LinkedIn for business-to-business products? Is it a good platform?
Okay.
Look at.
So yeah, so people use LinkedIn as a B2B, I mean, for plenty of B2B stuff. And I think, by the end of the day, to me, all these platforms, so long you can find your person over there, that's okay, that's good, right? Give it a try. You can run ads. You can run ads on LinkedIn. Not just that, you can do a lot of organic way of acquiring users as well. Obviously, do content, add people, and so on and so forth. But by the end of the day, the big question is, does it benefit you? So if I'm not mistaken, advertising on LinkedIn is not the cheapest, right? But by the end of the day, even though it's not the cheapest and it's bringing you the money, why not? So you can just actually put in, your time and effort and your money in. So even though, let's say, per click is I can't remember, is it RM2 or $2? I cannot remember. It's not cheap lah, basically. But by the end of the day, if your course or your thing that you're selling is a 100K thing, right? So what is RM2 per click? It's still okay, or $2 per click. That's still fine, right? So give it a try. Honestly speaking, B2B, obviously there are many ways to go about it. LinkedIn is obviously the people will always, the first thing you think about it is, it's no brainer for B2B when it comes to LinkedIn. But in fact, I know companies who specializes in getting this company actually specializes in getting leads for American companies, and they don't just use LinkedIn. They get leads from Facebook as well, believe it or not. Facebook, Instagram, they manage to get leads from those places as well.
Great. The next one, this is from Darren. He wants to find out, what are your thoughts regarding digital marketing for businesses who are primary B2B?
Who are
primarily B2B? Yeah, who are the primary B2B regarding digital marketing?
Everything is doable, right? The reason why people always think that this is only for B2C, digital marketing is only for B2C. Well, because you see a lot of news out there, right? Everything that you do, it's very easy to see digital marketing efforts for B2C because you're always being targeted, right? But there are a lot of companies that do B2B companies that do digital marketing as well, in different ways, also depending on the product. So for example, accounting softwares, right? You probably see that a lot more on the internet, accounting softwares. But at the same time, you get to some really technical thing, like for example, semiconductors. You can also do digital marketing on it, but the way you talk, your messaging and everything is very different. But of course, you also need to look at the behaviors as well as the behavior of the target market that you're targeting, right? Some target market, with this MCO, it forces everyone to go online, which is good, right? But like maybe some target market still wants to, if you go for maybe if they are if they are older, for example, they still want to touch the things, or some items are very technical, so you use very technical and it's very complex. Then you need to use digital marketing. You cannot push them straight to purchase, but you can at least try to figure out ways to get leads. So digital marketing can be used across everything. It's not just B2C, but B2B as well. Just that the messaging, the way you approach people is very different from B2C.
Right. Okay. This question is asking you about, for coding, does it matter whether you're using a PC or a MacBook, an OS, or
No,
yeah?
it doesn't matter. So long you have a computer, you can start learning to code.
It doesn't matter, right? Okay, that's good. And we have a final question. Any tips, especially for B2B products? Is there any tips that you want to share?
I think for B2B product, it really depends on what kind of products that you have, right? But what I would say is, and it also depends on, like for example, yesterday I was just talking to someone's from the interior designing, but it's for B2B, right? And then I was also talking to another person. I don't know what people use semiconductors for, honestly speaking. But semiconductor, which I have no knowledge about, It's also a B2B product. But they are very different type of products as well. One key thing that you need to know is this. One key thing you need to know is this: is your product, is it visual, right? Is it visually? You can use the visuals to represent your product, right? If you can use visuals, obviously it's a lot easier. Then you can target your Instagrams, your Facebooks, and a lot of things. Visual is obviously a lot easier. But if you're going to go for something that is a lot more technical, then it's not going to be visual maybe, but then it's going to be a lot on I don't know much about semiconductor, but maybe writing about semiconductor. What is the semiconductor? Becoming a thought leader in the semiconductor space by doing a lot of SEO, right? By the end of the day, people always say, is it always about paid advertising? The things that comes to people's mind when it comes to digital marketing is always, Facebook and Instagram. We just pay money, but you need to actually play with different things. So SEO is one thing that maybe a lot of people, especially in the technical scene, people will actually look into SEO, because SEO, if for you think about, and one more thing is to think about who is the one buying, right? Purchasing, making those decisions. So assuming if you're going to be looking for an accounting software, right? The person who's going to be researching, are they going to look at images and say, oh, this software image look nicer, the logo look nicer than the other one, or this one looks quite nice compared to the other one? No, right? But this person who may potentially be deciding on accounting softwares will be very interested in processes, will be very interested in, interesting financial decisions that people make. So you, as let's say an accounting software business, what you can do is that you can write articles like, hey, you know what? 10 ways, right? You need to 10 ways this company has turned, 10 ways how this CFOs have turned the company around, right? In just 3 months, for example. Those kind of things capture attention, right? So what you do is that, hey, you don't immediately talk about accounting, but you use something related, all the related stories to accounting, where people, maybe your story is, how this CFO helped turn around the company. 10 things to look out for, all this different content. And people who are in the finance industry love to read all this stuff. And when they're reading this stuff, all this, maybe the accounting people, finance people, all read this stuff, and they realize that, hey, they're coming to your website and they're also looking at your product as well, right? So that is also another way to go about it. There are a lot of ways. Really, there are a lot of different ways.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's a lot of other questions that are coming in as well. I'm sure you have a lot more questions. You guys got a lot more questions for Audrey. You can reach out to her. She's got a LinkedIn that you can actually follow, as well as you can head down to Next Academy's website, nextacademy.com, and ask her questions there. Put your inquiries down there, and I'm sure she will be free to answer them for you guys. That's all the time we have, Audrey. Thank you so much for your sharing.
Thank you so much, guys. It has been a privilege. And if you guys want to ask any questions, feel free to, you go and get the slides and you can see the contact information there. You can feel free to just, reach out to me on LinkedIn or something, right? And we can talk more about all these things. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. So we hope you enjoyed the session, guys. Please feel free to drop us your feedback on the webinar so that we can improve on it. If you have any other inquiries, you can actually email us. The email is actually displayed on the screen, as well as you can WhatsApp us as well using the number. Thank you so much for joining us and spending time this afternoon. We hope to see you soon. Cheers.
Bye.
And have a good day. Bye.